Hey, what up, y'all? You know what it is. Two caps, no
No
cap,
cap.
and we back once again.
Mm-hmm. We
You know,
back. We want to change the world.
yeah, always, bro. And you know who it
Mm-hmm.
is. Adam, aka Irate Specialist.
Mm-hmm.
Dropped a new song recently. Go check it out on all streaming
Mm-hmm.
platforms. It's called Love Again. And we got my lovely co-host here.
King. It is I, Wesley the actor, aka ATM Cash Out. Cha-ching.
The boy. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And we
Cha-ching.
back at it with another
Mm-hmm.
episode for you guys. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, today, I was as we were coming to this podcast, it was crazy because at like an hour before the podcast, I was like working on something, worrying about if I was gonna be able to, you know, get the outcome that I wanted. And then all of a sudden I look down on my phone and it says 444. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just like, oh shit, the universe is talking to me right now. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like, so then I was like, I hit up Wesley and I was like, yo, it's crazy, so 444 and shit. And I was like, we got to talk about synchronicity. And then, cause you had a similar story, and then
Mm-hmm.
back again when we had the just water, you know. Let me actually go get mine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that water is delicious. And I do have a similar story actually. With me, it's a little, it's almost the same. Oh yeah, that just water. That's some good water, by the way.
Just water.
It's delicious. It keeps you hydrated.
Beautiful.
But with me, I've been recently seeing 1111, and it's crazy because I will see it in the morning and I will see it at the nighttime, and you know it's kind of wild because it's almost like intuition. Like I relate one to intuition. So it's just like when you see that whole spectrum, that four ones, it's just like everything is sinking down to its purpose. It's building on that intuition. It's building on that wisdom, and then from there, that's almost like where the growth happens.
Exactly.
You're able to see that growth actually come to fruition. But it's sort of like it's almost like you planted a seed and like it's starting to bud. You know?
100%. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's funny that you said planted a seed. Talking about synchronicity just yesterday, while we
Mm-hmm.
were, discussing the tarot, it was the card which is the Seven of Discs, and that's all about investment and planting the seed in yourself for something that may grow in the future, but
Mm-hmm.
not really expecting it to grow necessarily, but at least planting the seed of change and being open to whatever outcome arises from planting that seed. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Synchronistically, we were just talking about that, and that's
Yeah.
that's the thing about synchronicity, because we discussed this a lot in the school about like how at a certain point, when you're just living a life like that's kind of in tune to a point, in alignment to a point, these synchronicities and stuff just like start happening like repeatedly, and you're just like, yeah, there's something that's telling me that this path is right, there's
Mm-hmm.
something that's telling me that this path is like I'm stepping in the right direction, at least,
Mm-hmm.
you know, during times like that. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why like when you said you meant you what's it called, saw 1111, you should like try to remember or like really feel into how you feeling, or think of like be aware of what you're thinking about at that moment when
Mm-hmm.
you see those types of numbers, because like it's the universe like pointing out to you like something is important right now,
Yeah.
pay attention to this right now, something type of
Hmm.
energy.
Yeah, and I kind of like what you were talking about too, because it kind of reminded me of you talked about like the journey itself. Like sometimes it's not even that next step. It's not even about where you're going. It's just about how the journey is. And sometimes the journey itself is not the destination. The destination is the next step. And what I learned is, especially when it comes to synchronicities, not to really be attached to the outcome so much, but
Yeah.
more to be attached to what's going on. What am I going to do next? And even from there, still not attached to what happens in that next step, but more open to that next step, just open to the fact that something is happening. There's something in the midst of changing. Like something that recently has been happening to me recently is more I've been listening to my heartbeat. And this is something that I used to do all the time, but as time progresses, life goes on and on. Sometimes I forget that your heartbeat is like almost like a source of power. It's not the source of power, but it's more like an example of a source of power. You can feel the vibration of your heartbeat, and it's kind of crazy because like once you get in tune with yourself, you can actually feel your heartbeat resonating through your entire body. It will be in your hands, it will be in your head, it will be in your feet, but you feel it through your entire body. And it's kind of crazy because it's like, how is it that you could feel your heartbeat, which is in your chest, everywhere? Like when I got to that point, I was just like, whoa, that's wild. But recently, I've been thinking about that again, and it kind of dawned on me. I haven't really been doing the meditations that's necessary for the synchronicity.
Mm,
And when you're not in tune with yourself,
yeah.
you kind of lose track on worrying about, or not. That's the thing. You're not you're we're so worried about what the next step is that we forget about the journey. you
Mm,
know and the journey is the most important part, because in the journey is where we are built.
yeah.
That's where we become synchronized with that divine, that creator. But
Exactly.
when we're so focused on, all right, I'm going to get this $1 million, and this is not something that I'm guilty of too, because I'm so concerned with, oh yeah, I'm gonna just make this $1 million or whatever. I'm trying to make this money, but sometimes it's not even about the outcome of the money. It's just about, what did you do to get there?
Yeah.
Because that's what you're going to be able to teach to that next individual who wants to learn from you, who wants to be your mentor or your mentee. You know what I mean?
Yeah. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
I feel you. Like, cause it's really it comes back to like, really just understanding like yourself, and like that's how you fall into alignment. That's how you fall into like those levels of synchronicity and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you
Mm-hmm.
know, cause like it comes with like a level of awareness, these synchronistic moments. Cause like, you'll be in one space and then like you'll come into like a new area, and then something else will happen that'll trigger what had happened. It's like deja vu at times sometimes, you know and it's really about being able to see that, because it happens to everyone on a daily basis,
Yeah.
but once you start to notice it, that's when like you're coming from like a higher level of awareness, and you can turn that awareness back inside on yourself to like see, like, get the inner truth of yourself out as well, you know
Mm-hmm.
and that's something that I'm working on personally, like really really taking it in and recognizing patterns, because that's also a really good thing that synchronicity helps with, like recognizing
Mm-hmm.
patterns, you know and
Mm-hmm.
then turning that in on yourself. You start to recognize patterns where you may not be living the expression of your highest self, that you know you can embody, and starting to recognize that pattern, that gives you the power to be able to, change it
Mm-hmm.
eventually. If you're recognizing it and you don't like it, then you have the power to change it. you know
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and it's just that awareness that gives you, like, it also makes you responsible to a certain point as well. Like, for changing it. Say these
Mm-hmm.
synchronicities and these, like, moments of, like, just beauty and stuff also come with a responsibility, to share, um
Mm-hmm.
to share them as well, and to live up to the experience that you're taking part in, and,
Mm-hmm.
like, live up to being a person who expresses those type of values in yourself, and to bring it out in others, like you were saying about the mentee, like, so that others who want to follow you, they see, like, who you are, and that's why they want to follow you, not because of, like, what you say or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
like, because you embody it as well. So
Exactly.
yeah.
That kind of reminds me of this story. I used to say this all the time in the college, but I never said this story on this channel. And I obviously, my co-host has heard this story before, but I'm just gonna like sort of reiterate the story because obviously the people on this channel haven't heard it yet. So I want to bless them with the story, but I also want to show how it fits into the synchronicity,
Mm-hmm.
right? So there's a man, right? And this man, he's working on the project at home. And his son comes up to me. He says, Daddy, Daddy, I want to play. I want to play. He's like, No, son, I got to get this project done. But he's like, Dad, I want to play. So what the dad does, he takes out a magazine. And in this magazine, there's a globe. And he tears his globe up into 500 pieces. And he's like, Here's son, put this puzzle together. Just so he thinks he could buy him some time. And the boy comes back 2 minutes later with the puzzle completed. And the man's like, Yo, how did you get the puzzle done so quickly? And the boy said on the back of the globe there was a man. And if I can fix the man, I can fix the world. Now, there's a lot that goes into this story, but I want to break it down from the synchronistic aspects. First, let's talk about the the little boy and what the boy saw as the man. The thing is, we ourselves are those little people. We are these little children. We are these creators, right? And the creator and blesses us with this activity of fixing the man. But the thing is, we don't know what the man looks like until we know what the creator looks like.
Mm-hmm.
The creator looks just like us because we're made in the image of that creator. And if we now, mind you, this is where the synchronicity comes in. The reason the boy was able to put the puzzle together is because the man on the back of the globe looked like him.
Mm-hmm.
And see, the thing is, this is how we synchronize what we're supposed to do. Because if we know a great creator created us to create, we're here to create the world that needs to be fixed. See, the thing is, like, I believe that each and every person is strategically placed in the world at a specific time for a specific purpose. Like, we weren't born, and I think about it all the time. Like, why wasn't I born in like the 70s or 80s or the 40s or whatever? Now, there was a lot of stuff that could have been changed back then, but the thing, and there's still stuff that we're struggling with in it, and I'm just saying in America at least,
Mm-hmm.
with a lot of the stuff that we're dealing with in the 40s, the 50s. We're still dealing with the same problems.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we were born at this exact time, at this exact moment to fix this time period.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I used to wonder, why is it that I'm not born at that time? But that time wasn't relevant to our purpose.
No, I feel like also,
Mm-hmm.
we may have been born during that time, and
Yeah.
that's just, we're now, here in this time once again to still continue the work that we started back in that time as well.
Oh yeah.
you
Well,
know.
I do want to preface this before I get back into that. So I believe that each person is you live in a different reality.
Mm,
So yeah, we were born at that time. Each person is us. So each person born at that time is still us. But that specific version of you was born at at that time for that purpose. Even
mm,
though that person is still you. You know, I like I'll give you an example. I am you and you are me because our both of our hearts are beating.
mm,
Both of us are human beings, but we still serve different purposes in the where we are. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So like, don't get me wrong, we were still born there, but I'm saying this specific version of us. That's
Mm,
what I mean. Yeah,
word.
yeah.
Okay.
But yeah. So yeah, but going back to that though, the boy, right? He wanted to play with his dad. The thing is, how did the dad have the magazine? And I like this aspect because I think you mentioned this before, but the dad had the magazine of himself.
Hmm.
He created the magazine.
Yeah.
So he knew he was okay with ripping a page of his own magazine to give to his child.
Mm,
Yeah. So yeah, it's all a synchronicity. So yeah, that's my little portion that I just wanted to add in.
word,
Oh
bro.
yeah.
Yo, I appreciate
Yeah.
you. And that story is super powerful too. Like,
Oh yeah.
the different angles and the synchronicities that, like, the boy
Mm-hmm.
seeing his future self in the magazine. So that's how he knew he could put it back together, like, 'cause he had already
Exactly.
vision. And he's a child, so like, they're extra imaginative, creative. But
Exactly.
yeah, we could go into that story forever.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah, I guess the main point that I want to say here, wrapping up, is that synchronicity, to me at least, is just recognition that the world that you're observing is, you know, you're starting to see more of a higher or a different perspective of the world that you have been observing. Let's say that.
Mm-hmm.
You're starting to see more at least,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and that's like a signal that, yeah, maybe, if I feel a certain type of way, I can turn this awareness also in on myself and
Yeah.
from there. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
what I would have to say.
Oh yeah. And my last word before we get going, because we wanted to make sure that everything was good for everybody. Just a little short podcast, just to
No,
wet y'all whistle a little bit.
tap in real
But
quick.
oh yeah, just real quick. I right now, let's in tune with the condition of unconditional love.
Mhm.
That's the synchronicity of life right now. And I feel like
Full
now
moon,
that we're
the
here,
perfect time.
oh yeah. Now that we're here, we could do that. Oh yeah. All
uh,
right, everybody. Thank y'all so much for
Thank
being
you for
amazing.
coming through.
Uh-huh.
Love
Make sure you
hanging out with you.
oh yeah. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And
Yes, sir.
follow us on Instagram and listen to our music. See if you
Yeah.
like it.
Love Again is out now. Has a lot
It's
of
about
what we were talking about in this podcast in that song.
mhm,
So definitely go
mhm,
check it out. So we love you. Stay up, stay well, and I hope that you come and join us again, guys.
mhm.
Peace.